Temperatures take a dive in the central part of the country and in the east as the Arctic Express moves off the coast.
As temperatures plunge in some areas, other places are still trying to dig out from snow.
Details on the cold and snow, and we have the weekend forecast for your area next on WeatherScope.
For a scope of coverage you won't find anywhere else, this is WeatherScope this afternoon.
Wind chill advisories are posted throughout the east and in the central U.S. as some of the coldest air this season filters through. Hi, I'm Christina Abernathy. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Declan Cannon. The winter storm exiting the east coast is helping to drive those cold temperatures eastward. Many people in the eastern and middle part of the country spent today just trying to stay warm. In fact, water literally freezing as it comes out of this fountain indicates just how cold it was in Dallas this morning. The low was 19 degrees with a wind chill of -15, but the cold didn't prevent some joggers from taking a morning run. Others who ventured outdoors did so with coats, hats, scarves, and gloves. Winter weather returns to most of the central plains. One good case of that yesterday was Omaha, Nebraska. Several inches of snow, bitterly cold air, low wind chills. The plows are out clearing streets of snow as people cleared their driveways and sidewalks of the fresh snow. This morning's residents woke up with temperatures 2 degrees below zero and a wind chill of -40. Just a taste of what happens when these Arctic air masses drop south of the border, as is prone to happen this time of the year. Now, we are in for a brief southern cold spell. You'll notice Dallas at 35, Atlanta 41, Denver 29, today's highs. Look what happens as you go through the weekend. Upper air pattern shifts a little bit. We're going to moderate a lot of that shallow cold air deep in the south. 60s and 70s from Atlanta to Dallas, maybe even 60 at Denver as we get into Wednesday afternoon. That'll be a change, but here's what we have right now. 6 in Des Moines, a temperature of 6. It's below zero from Minneapolis, St. Paul north, right to the border. International Falls at 9 below. Chicago's at 4. It's in the single digits throughout all of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. Gets a little warmer as you head east and we get closer to the storm. Freezing in New York. And we have 38 now. The warmer air continues to pour in from the Atlantic right into Logan Field. So it's all rain in Logan and Bedford now. Raining in New Bedford, raining in Providence, raining along the Connecticut coast, raining in eastern Long Island. But with the low pressure tracking towards south central Long Island, northerly winds are starting to push some of that colder air once again southbound towards New York City. So looks like a little freezing rain around LaGuardia the last time they checked in. But this is all snow, and it's going to pile up quite a bit as we go through the next 6 hours, especially as that low pressure gets a little bit closer. Heavier precipitation over eastern Suffolk County, heading up towards Bridgeport, east of Bridgeport. Now, you don't go too far inland in interior Connecticut before we pick up some freezing rain. We have freezing rain around Danbury and Hartford. That's probably going to last quite a while because we think with the surface low taking this kind of track along that coastal front will probably hold the northeast winds. You're going to have frozen precipitation throughout the duration. Now, there's your low pressure south of Long Island. The big, or the primary low, is located farther north in Canada, and a couple of cold fronts dropping into the southeast with some rain moving across North Florida. You can see the clouds with the rain in northern Florida. That'll be pushing on out to sea later on tonight. And as we look into the plains, things are quiet, but definitely on the cold side.
Let's take a look at what's in store for the west, and the rainy season doesn't look like it. In California, the rainfall since July 1st in some areas, well, almost 2.5 inches in Redding and almost an inch in San Francisco, but just over 1/10 of an inch in Los Angeles. The normal amount of rain you would usually see is almost 6 times that as we head to San Francisco, and nowhere near what you would normally see in Redding. But it looks like this may be changing. It looks like you may see a little rain in your forecast. Let's take a look at our satellite view and we'll see why. We've got an area of low pressure in the Pacific, and that is going to be headed for the coast as we see sort of a series of disturbances developing along that and moving, rotating around it. That could perhaps bring some wet weather along parts of the west coast, including California. So be ready for perhaps some maybe much needed rain in your area. Here's what's going on in the west right now. High pressure in the plain states, but head to the northwest. We're looking at a warm front moving on through. Out ahead of it, we're looking at some pretty inclement weather here, including rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Snow in many areas of Idaho here back into Montana, and we're looking at some messy weather As we head up to Washington, as well around the Seattle area, you've seen rain there. At other areas, seeing freezing rain, and we're seeing fog too, especially in California and some of the coastal areas and in southwestern Oregon. Let's look at our radar and we'll see what's going on here. And again, we're looking at freezing rain around Portland, freezing rain around, actually snow around Spokane, not showing up well on the radar here. Also snow around Missoula, that's not showing up well on our radar either. But at any rate, we are seeing that activity. Head down to Pocatello, you're looking at sleet falling there around the Seattle area. Generally seeing rain here, although there could be some freezing rain certainly in the area, so keep that in mind. Well, we're still looking at some pretty active weather in the forecast here. How active? Well, this is what it looks like as far as snowfall is concerned. The heaviest amounts in the northern Rockies and in the northern Cascades of Washington, where you could see 6 to 12 inches perhaps, and then lesser amounts as we head back into Utah and into Colorado.